Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Teacher Fayyazuddin Ahmed, your biology teacher, bringing you the revision for first term examination. And these are solved tasks. Question number one. Organisms are given scientific names using binomial system where the first and second names are genus and species. The first and second names are genus and species respectively. The first name is genus, which should be always written with a capital letter, and species should be with a small letter. The answer is genus and species. Question number two. Which of the following is not an invertebrate? Snakes. The answer is snakes. Snakes are vertebrates and they belong to reptiles. Snakes are reptiles. Question number three. Insects have three pairs of legs and two pairs of wings. The answer is three. Question number four. Which of these plants have strong stems, roots, and leaves and make spores? Answer is ferns. Yes. Ferns have strong stems, roots, and leaves, and they make spores. Question number five. Algae belongs to protists. Yes. Algae belongs to kingdom protists. Yes. From the next task, question number one. Variation in the heights of a group of students in a class is continuous. Yes, the type of variation is continuous. The continuous variation there there is a starting point and an end point. There is a limit between which the variations are mentioned. So variation in the heights of a group of students in a class is continuous. Number two, what type of variation is eye color, blood type, and tongue rolling? What type of variation is eye color, blood type, and tongue rolling? It's a genetic type of variation. Yes. What type of variation is related to speed, agility, and strength of an athlete? Answer is environmental. Answer is environmental variation. Number four, an accent is an example of environmental variation. Yes, an accent is an environmental variation. Question number five, the naming of organisms is in binomial system. Yes, as discussed earlier, the naming of organisms is in binomial system, whereas each organism is given two names. The first name is the genus name and the second name is the species name. Task 3. Which of these features shows environmental variation? Answer is scars. Yes. Blood group, eye color, these are genetic. The environmental variation here is scars. The answer is scars. Number two, where is most variation found? Yes, it is between different species. The answer for question number two is between different species we find most of the variations. Number three, what type of graph do we use for discontinuous variation? It is bar chart. Yes. For discontinuous variation, we use bar chart. Yes. Question number four, what occurs when a sperm meets an egg? What happens when a sperm meets an egg? Their nuclei, they unite. They unite to form a zygote, which is later on grown to be an individual. So the answer is fertilization. What occurs when a sperm meets an egg? It's a fertilization. Which of these features is an example of continuous variation? Weight, yes. The body weight, yes, it is an example of continuous variation. Question number 6. Which of these features is an example of discontinuous variation? Blood group, yes. Blood group is an example of discontinuous variation. Number 7. Which of these features shows inherited variation? Which of these features shows inherited variation? Answer is brown eyes. Yes, brown eyes are inherited. They are inherited variation. Question 8. Catherine has bright blue hair. What kind of variation has caused this? Yes, this is environmental variation. Bright blue hair is caused due to environmental conditions, so it's an environmental variation. Question number 9. Which of these factors can be changed by both environmental and inherited variation? Answer is weight. Yes, a person can be overweight because of the genetic reasons, because of a gene for an overweight characteristic, and also because of the environmental conditions like being less active, taking more of the input, and offering very little output. So the energy which is stored can be converted to excess amount of weight. So there are two factors, environmental factor and also a genetic factor. So the answer for question number 9 is weight, body weight. Number 10. What shape graph do you see for many examples of continuous variation? Many examples of continuous variation, we see a bell-shaped graph. A bell-shaped graph. The answer for the question number 9 is bell shape. A bell shape. Okay, now questions and answers. Question number 1. If a dominant allele for tall plants is represented by the letter D, what letter should represent the corresponding recessive allele? Yes, we know that the dominant alleles are represented by capital letters and recessive alleles are represented by small letter. So if a dominant allele is represented by capital D, then the recessive corresponding allele should be represented by small d. So the answer is small d. The recessive allele corresponding to capital D is small d. Question number 2. Mention some inherited diseases caused by recessive genes. Yes, the examples are many. We'll take a few of them. Hemophilia, which is because of the deficiency of factor 8. Then the patient has inability to have blood clotting in his body. Hemophilia, it's caused by recessive gene or recessive allele. Albinism, also caused by a recessive gene. Phenylketonuria, caused by recessive gene. Red-green color blindness, also caused by a recessive gene. And sickle cell anemia, caused by recessive genes. So all these diseases, inherited diseases, they need the homozygous recessive genotype to show the disease. For the disease to be active, the patient needs to have a homozygous recessive alleles. Once again, hemophilia, albinism, phenylketonuria, red-green color blindness, sickle cell anemia. All these are the inherited diseases caused by the recessive genes. Question number 3. In humans, maleness or femaleness is determined by a pair of sex chromosomes called X and Y. Okay. Question number 1. What is the genotype for males? What is the genotype for females? Yes. The genotype for male is capital X and capital Y, XY. The genotype for male is XY and the genotype for female is XX. So the male genotype is XY and the female genotype is XX. Question number 4. In humans, is it the sperm or the ovum which determines the sex of the offspring? Yes. What is that? Is it a sperm or ovum which determines the sex of the offspring? Answer is sperm. The sperm determines the sex of the offspring. Yes. Question number 5. When a particular gene is said to be sex-linked, on which chromosome is that gene usually present? Yes, a sex-linked gene. Yes, it is present on X chromosome and absent on Y chromosome. So the answer for the question is a sex-linked gene is usually carried on the X chromosome and is absent on the Y chromosome. The answer is X chromosome. here. In a sex-linked, uh, the question is, when a particular gene is said to be sex-linked, on which chromosome is that gene usually present? A sex-linked gene is usually carried on the X chromosome and is absent on the Y chromosome. This is the end of the revision, and all the best for your examination. See you again, inshallah, soon. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.